Good morning, YouTube. My name is Amos Bro. Today is June 12th, 2017. How the hell are y'all doing today? I hope well. We're going to be 11 days soon. We're going to be 11 days away soon from UtaPri and I 7th stage, or 7th anniversary. Not 7th stage yet. We'll probably get there, hopefully. Anyway, what are we going to talk about tonight? We are going to be talking about UtaPri, and I want to talk about UtaPri in the sense, because I don't know if I've talked about this, and I don't know if I've heard many people actually analyze it. So we're going to do that here. Have we ever looked at the way the confession and then the character episode really helps show us the character? I'm going to give you a couple examples. We're going to use at least one Starish. We're going to use one Quartet Night, and we're going to use at least maybe one Heavens member. So yes, we're going to use all three groups in this. Okay? Now let's start by understanding what we mean by confession and character episode. Just so we're clear, just for people that may not know what I'm talking about, you're going to get the understanding. When I say the confession, in every season in every first episode of the four seasons that have aired currently, they do an episode where each boy or each idol confesses in some way, be it direct or indirect, to Haruka their romantic intentions. Now, in Starish's case, it's pretty much indirect because of the no love rule. It's still kind of indirect when we get to Quartet Night, because they still work for the Shining Agency, so that rule still exists for them too. It's when you get to Heavens that things get a bit more interesting. And we're going to really break it down. So, when you look at, say, we use Ren for the example for Starish, okay? When you look at him, let's use episode 1 of season 2. I want to specifically use that one, okay? And then we'll backtrack to season 1. When you look at the way Ren is, he seems like everything most women should hate. Just outright. Put it this way, I can't stand these types of people. He seems arrogant, playboyish, a womanizer. He seems like everything you should despise. Factually. And you should. The problem is, well, not the problem, but the thing is, that's only a part of it. Then you get to his character episodes. His character episodes always manage to bring us a piece of his puzzle so we can go, oh, now it makes sense. This is why he's this way. Ren's bravado is a combination of things. One, the way, in many respects, his father emotionally abused him. I mean, think about it. Ren loved his mother dearly. That was clearly shown in his season 1 episode. And what happened? Well, she died apparently, and then the father decided he was going to destroy every single one of her belongings. He wanted no memories of his wife. The only thing he couldn't destroy, mercifully, was an MP3 that Ren had of a song that his mother made for him before he was born. So once we understand that, and then also we go into his episode in season 2, it makes more sense about why he is the way he is. And you know something? His bravado, as much as you should really hate it, it actually becomes more tolerable, more palatable, because you understand what caused it. Do you see? The confession is only a part of his story. We know that he can be braggadocious and arrogant, womanizing playboy at times. We know that he can be. That's not like it's news to us. But the thing of it is at the same time, he's not that bad a guy once you really get to understand him. Put it this way, his character from season 1 all the way up to the most recent season evolved in such a way that it was impossible for me to sit there and go, why should I like you? You know what I'm saying? Like, it became impossible for me to look at him because of the sample that we got and go, I can't hate you. Granted, he kind of took a step back when we got to season 4 when it came to Vaughn. Now, when I say he took a step back, here's the reason. He became very jealous of Vaughn. He became very overprotective. I guess maybe he thought that there was a possibility that, how do I explain this? That Vaughn would take something that is very important to him, and that it's one of the few things he has left in his life. Like, yeah, okay, as a group he has Starish. Not taking that from him. But maybe now that I think about it, maybe this is why he acted the way he did. If you really break down the character, and you did the character analysis on that episode, maybe he felt that if Vaughn succeeded, he would be taking the one thing that Ren had that held the meaning to him. Even though he does make up with his brother, it's not like he's around his brother constantly. He can't stand his father because of what happened. Like, Haruka's one of the few things that he can have a constant around, so he doesn't have to try and, you know, he doesn't flare up is what I'm basically getting at. Okay? And that's always an interesting thing when you look at his character. From his confession to his character. Right? Now, Cortenite and Heavens are going to be two trickier ones, because from a season standpoint, the only time they really did a confession was in seasons, well, actually they did one in season 3 and they did one in season 4. Heavens only got to do one so far in season 4. So their sample size is tiny. But let's use dear old Reiji. Okay? Reiji, the character who I arguably can't take, who I honestly had the hardest time trusting in Cortenite, and I love Cortenite. Anybody that knows me knows this. When it comes to UtaPri, of the 3 units, there's 2 that I'm obnoxiously big a fan of. That's Cortenite, Heavens, and Heavens is like number 1 at this point. Okay, we'll discuss more about that though when we get to them. But Reiji, he is such a wild card, and this is symbolic in many respects when Atoya dropped the Joker on the floor, because the Joker in the playing deck is symbolic of a wild card, right? This is Reiji as a whole. He is the wild card for the Cortenite Knights. The reason is because that man can wear many different masks. So knowing which is his true persona, it's almost impossible. Example, when you look at his confession from, say, Revolutions, he seems like a very mature character. He seems like somebody who's pretty much well and grown up. I mean, he's the eldest of all the Quartet Night members, I think. If I remember right, I think he was like 25 or 26 according to the Wikipedia. But yet, he acts like a prankster. He acts like a jokester. He acts in a way that the wild card in him sends him all over the place. So figuring out which one is the real Reggie, it's not impossible, but it's really hard. Because if you remember when you listen to the lyrics of Never, one was something about finding the real him. Right? So think about that. Think about how many layers you have to go through to get to him, to find the real him, and he'll constantly swerve you and send you in about 500 other directions. It's not easy. It's not easy to get to know him because of the way he is. Now, at least this is in the anime. In the games, it's probably a lot different. But remember, I'm going based off what I know so far from the anime that was taught me. Because of things that have happened in his life, he's put up so many fronts that finding out who is the real Reiji Kotobuki, not the easiest thing in the world to do. And I think anybody that is honest will tell you that when it comes to Reiji, it's... how to explain this? It's not going to be impossible, but it will be if we don't get any more time to really explore his character, be it in what will be the movie, or if they were to do another season and say it's Quartet Night and Heavens, which I'm still banking that there's going to be something based around those two. I can't tell you what, but I'm almost hedging my bets that there's going to be something in the very near future announced. So just think about that, okay? Because, like I said, it's 1 minute. Like I said, in his confession, he's a very grown-up type person. Let's join the world of adults together. Then he's a prankster, basically, on his show, or on his challenge corner. Which the irony of it is, when you when you mention the challenge corner to UtaPri fans, are like, "What's the challenge corner?" I'm like, did you not watch Ray J's episode in season 3? Because if you look at the way the outfit is in the challenge corner, and you look at the way the outfit is in the visual for season 4, they ain't far apart, kids. And people will say, well, what about stage? Well, I think it looks more like 5th stage. I never watched 5th stage. You have to show me something from 5th stage that actually matters. Good luck. Okay, wait a minute. No, to be fair, I think wasn't Original Residence from there? Yeah, okay, I saw that then. Never mind. But yeah. Anyway, point is, Ray J's confession showed one thing, his episode showed another, so there's that, right? Now let's talk Heavens. And if you want to talk about a group that's even harder group to do a character analysis on in some respects, well, no, character analysis, believe it or not, it's actually very easy to do it. It's a lot easier than I think some people give Broccoli credit for. Maybe it's because they knew there was only going to be one season, but they gave us enough pieces of the puzzle to be able to figure out how these characters were going to operate. Like, look at the way each character does their confession, and we're going to pick one. We're going to pick, in this case, a couple in particular. Vaughn. Vaughn was a very how do I explain him in his confession? He was a very daring, we'll say. I'm trying to think of like the best way to explain him to somebody who doesn't understand Vaughn's character from his confession. But we're going to get to that part in a second. He seems like a very daring character. And he is. I mean, God, look how bold he is in his episode with Ren, right? But the thing about Vaughn was, what we learned is he's a very daring character from this confession, but then we learned that he's also a very respectful character. Like, here's what I noticed about Vaughn when it comes to him in his episode Lovely Eyes with Ren. It doesn't seem like it, but if you tell him to back off, he'll do it and not question it. He doesn't act in a way that makes you think he's going to be defiant. Like when Ren actually did get in between him and Haruka in the episode, he backed off. He didn't even press on Ren any. He went about his business, but he did say he was going to try and win her heart, especially after the duet. He did say that. I admit that. But he was also very respectful of her when she rejected him. This is something that's very important to his character, because I'm going to bet that there are people that probably looked upon him when they saw the way he acted at times as being disrespectful, pushy. Okay, but let's be real. In the first season, if you think that, I'm not saying you do, but let's say you think that. Look at Ren and look at the way he acted in his first episode in season 1. And when I say his first episode, what I should mean is up to his episode. He was a very arrogant, a very brash character. He pissed off his roommate. He did that. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, that was Ren in a nutshell. But Ren grew. Maybe because they know that they're not going to have as much time with Heavens, they had to show you the maturity in about 20-some minutes. Because, yes, he did seem very pushy, very arrogant, very everything. But they also showed you that he, Vaughn, is very willing to back off if he's confronted or if he's openly rejected. Now, this isn't to say that he doesn't want to still be with Haruka, because he does. And in every respect, I would actually be okay with that, because Vaughn is a very lovable personality. And he seems like a very genuine personality. He's just... I've explained it like this about 100 times when it comes to Vaughn. He's a very lovable dork. Okay? He is a jokester. But he's also very compassionate, very warm, very loving. So's and so's Ichi in his own way. But we'll get to him at some point. Another character that I want to look at, though, is, and this one we're doing just because it really fits. Look at Shion. Shion has a very mystic personality. Just from his confession, look at the way he is. He likes to speak in riddles, especially when he's around somebody that he's just really meeting and he's not really comfortable with yet. I mean, my God. Look when he was talking about wind-torn Lavernus. Me and a young lady who I know, who unfortunately I haven't gotten a chance to speak to in a while, we were always trying to analyze what in the f is his deal, what is his game, what is his angle. Well, what all of these are is this. His personality is a very anxious one. He's not comfortable around new people. Unless he's with his group of people, he's not nearly as open as he should be. But that's okay. That's his personality. Now, eventually, again, because maybe the fact of what they're going to may or may not do with Heavens, he eventually does open up. Something we need to talk about, though, and really think about is when he opens up, was it really because he wanted to or because he felt forced to? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, yes, he did the duet, but I do wonder to a degree with Shion if he was doing it willingly or because he was doing it because he knew it was going to end up benefiting his group in the end. And it kind of did, and it did in every sense of the word. And maybe it did benefit him a little because it started to broaden his horizons as far as what he would do group-wise. Maybe he will do something more with Cecil in the actual anime. Wait, you thought I was actually going to count 6 stage? Get out of here. Maybe he'll actually do something with him in the movie. Maybe he'll do something more with him if there's his 5th season. Maybe once he starts being more comfortable around Starish, he'll start to become more comfortable maybe by proxy around the Quartz Head Knight, and maybe he'll want to work with them. Maybe Camus? Maybe Camus? Who knows? It's a very interesting scenario when you look at the way his character is, though, because you can tell there's a lot of anxiety in his body. There's a lot of nervousness with him just to be around another group. That's okay, though, because he had to learn to get accustomed to it. You can look at Iji. Iji's a very interesting character because he seems like a very respectful character. Granted, he seems to carry a little bit of his brother's bravado and therefore his game, but hey, what are the Tories if they're not, very upfront about the way they feel? I mean, hell, when he up front kissed the back of Haruka's hand, that had to tell you something, right? But what was interesting was that was his confession. What we found out about his character was the kid picks up a lot. He can pick up a dance, he can pick up a song, he can pick up a lot of things. He is a prodigy. I think him and Nagi are like the 2 prodigies in the entire group. And that's interesting. That's something we need to learn about. That's something we need more time with Heavens on. Because we need to start to understand, we need the roadmap to their personalities. We need to know what makes each one of these members tick. This is why we need them to start to get a bigger focal point. But you know this already. This isn't news. This is just fact. No matter what people say, it's legitimate fact. My question is this to people. Am I the only one that has seen the connection between the confession and the character episode? And will a bigger sample size, i.e. another season, maybe the movie, will that start to really bring us more about the Heavens boys, and to a degree also maybe Quartet Night? Because right now Broccoli gave us a little bit of the carrot. They dangled the carrot in front of us and let's take a little taste of it. But now he said, oh, hold on, you gotta wait for more. And I wonder if more is coming in the movie, and I wonder if more is coming at the 5th season when it happens. I also wonder when we get to the games for Heavens, what is going to really be brought out and revealed through that. We got a lot to go through. We have so much to unpack with Heavens that it would be unfair to just end them. And I want to see Broccoli step up and show their commitment to Heavens, not just in the movie, but also in a future 5th season. Because let me give you a newsflash, Brock. I can show a better commitment to them than you can right now. Think about that. Just saying, kids. Y'all take care. See you in the next video.